That deadly earthquake in New Zealand, Prime Minister says that there are scenes of utter devastation as buildings and churches collapse, killing at least 65 people. Hamish, a reporter for New Zealand's TV3 now, has more from Christchurch.
65 people have been confirmed dead, and that is expected to rise after the big 6.3 quake here in Christchurch. The central city has been destroyed. Buildings have collapsed, people have been trapped. There are many injured, and of course those 65 dead. Search and rescue teams are working through the night, going through the buildings that have collapsed, where they know people are trapped, looking for people that have survived. A state of emergency has been declared by the Prime Minister. That is expected to last for 5 days. The military are going through the streets in their vehicles. Police are combing the streets, and another 200 are on standby from around the country coming in. The hospitals are full, and those injured are being ferried to other hospitals around the country. This is much bigger than the September 4 quake that was a 7.1 magnitude. The only hope is that more survivors can be found overnight and the toll doesn't rise too much. For CBS News, I'm Hamish Clark.
And earlier I spoke with Tina Anderson, who lives in Christchurch. I asked her to describe the scene shortly after the quake struck.
I wanted to get home and I wanted to go across towards the square to go home. And they said, no, you've got to keep moving, there are bodies over there. And I looked and I hadn't got my glasses on, which is probably just as well. And they were what I thought were like mannequins, but they weren't, they were bodies. And I don't know if it's 2 or 3 or what. And so we just kept turning and then we got to the Latimer Square. But prior to that, at the CT4 radio building, I'm not quite sure if I've said that right, but that was on the ground. The buildings all around were just on the ground. The smoke was thick in the air, and it was just awful. And there was people just bleeding and hurt and cut, and we were asked to come and help. So we came and helped, and we helped this lady that had a compound fractured bone sticking out of the leg, and just helped to the area where the doctors were. It was about a 10-minute walk, which we kind of got. I don't know how we got there, to be honest. And from there, they had already doctors in situ doing their job, and people taking over from there.
Clearly, so they were ready. That response, as you mentioned, even by the time you got downstairs.
It's just amazing how quickly they were ready. They were ready. I guess it did take about 10 minutes for us to get there because we were. My manager and I were helping this lady that was pretty in shock, and as we all were, I suppose, to get to that point, and from there we just wanted to get home.
It sounds almost surreal. It sounds like a Hollywood movie.
It's still unreal to me. This is many hours later, and it's still not quite clicked in. If you know what I mean? It's just devastating, absolutely. And then, as you walk along, people are in shock, and people are bleeding, and the air's so thick of smoke, and you can smell the gas, and you're walking past certain places, you can smell sewer as well. It was like, wow.
Right.
So, and the aftershocks are just happening all the time. And, I'm not quite sure. The last count was 65 dead, and still trying to find 200 people under that rubble.
Well, if there is one good thing to come out of this, it sounds like even in the very immediate moments afterwards, you and your fellow folks in Christchurch have certainly banded together. Tina Anderson, thanks for taking a moment to be with us this morning.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. Thank you.
The words in those descriptions are just so powerful.
You just cannot imagine being in that situation, but to hear her vividly describe it like that, unbelievable.